This is my pattern, and I'll be doing a variation of the pattern in 3 different sizes. Here are the knots that you need to know. So this is what I decided to use. I'm going to use a magnet for this bracelet, this color of cord, and these beads here. Okay, I'm using a magnetic clasp, and I just knotted it on. I have 3 cords at 60 inches, and you just put it on and put a little knot on it. Take the outer cord, and the outside one, and make a square knot. Okay. One square knot. Now you just continue. We want a total of 4. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm making the small bracelet size. I'll be making a couple different sizes so I can show you how to change the pattern to make it fit. I'm using 3 E beads this time instead of what the pattern calls for. And then a square knot under it. And then you want a total of 4 again. Now you slide 1 E bead on each working cord, and you still have 4 filler cords, and you tie another 4 more square knots. How to count your square knots? Mine are on the right side, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you tie them on this side, then you would have 4 over here. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as you do it the same way throughout the pattern. And now we're just going to repeat. Put 3 beads on the center filler cords and tie 4 square knots. Okay, so what we did is repeated the 3 beads and put 1 square knot underneath. Then you split your cord into 2 groups, and with these 3 cords you make 10 half square knots, and then the same thing on this side. That's 1. 2, and you just keep going until you have 10, and just let it twist. 3. Okay, so now you put 1 bead. These are E size beads on each side. These are the working cords, and you do 10 more half knots. You'll add a bead on this cord, and then tie 10 on this side. Okay, now we will take 4 filler cords, 2 working cords, and tie 4 square knots. Oop, that's a half knot. That's a square knot. There's 1. You need 4. And now you put your center bead on, and then you just reverse your pattern. So I'll do 4, split, the 3 beads, 4, 2 beads on each side, 4, 3, and 4, and then we'll connect it to the clasp. That easy. So from center bead, you just reverse the pattern, add your other magnetic, put some clear fingernail polish on it, and it's done. And that is the finished piece. Okay, the next one I'm going to make is going to be smaller, and these are the beads I decided to use with this cord. It's a little lighter than that one. So what I will do, since this one is so much bigger than the one I used, and I want it to be smaller, I'm going to do 2 where there's 4. I'll probably leave this the same. 2 here, that the same, 2 in here, and 2 here. Again, I cut my cords at 60 inches, 3 cords, find the middle spot, fold them in half. I put them over the ring that I'm going to use as a clasp, and then I'm going to use this type of closure for this bracelet. And you do the same thing, but like I said, I'm only going to put 2 where there's 4 squares. Okay, and this is the third one, which will be the smallest one. And right here is center, but I'm going to start my knots here, and this will be the loop. And on the other end, we'll have the knot. So it took 10 square knots to make the loop. And now I'm going to start with the square knots of the bracelet. Last one, which is the smallest, I did the loop, a square knot, 2 square knots, a bead. I did a loop, 2 square knots, a bead, 2 square knots, 2 beads on the outside, 2 square knots, and then a bead again, 2 square knots, and then the split beads, where I split the threads, was the same, 10 beads and 10 again, half knots. I did 4 square knots, I did 1 bead, square knot, another bead, 4 square knots, and then we're just reversing down to the knot, and that's a double overhand knot, which will fit right into the loop. So if you try these patterns, please send me a picture. They are fun to make. All 3 are done. Same pattern, just a little variation, and they all look different.